What's going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back with a brand new episode of Chaos Head Noah. Last time on, we had Takumi trying to recover after the horrifying sights he saw last time, but his sister Nanami decided to check up on him to find out if he was dead or not, and we also finally tested out the delusion system by choosing a good delusion, in which case it was something erotic. And of course, it had to be with his sister. I should have chosen the bad one, but man, what can you do? After that, he goes to school trying to forget the sights he saw and, sulking and his loneliness or whatever. But he starts to notice a girl following him around before he gets to school, and even after he leaves, he still notices her. During that point, there was another delusion choice, and I chose bad that time, in which it was something more gruesome. But eventually, once he knocks into like a motorcycle or whatever, she finally introduces herself to him, and her name is Yua, a shy student from the same academy he comes from, who shares in the same interests as him, and she wears glasses, and I've decided that she's best girl. Even though we've only met like four girls so far. Well, I guess technically we've only met three girls. There was that one scene with that other girl singing into the night. But still, I've decided best girl for right now. But yeah, after all that, we've returned to school, and there were some good comments last time of discussing about the delusion triggers specifically and how they actually influence the game and such to lead to different endings. Somebody else expanded on that, saying that they don't really affect the first playthrough of this, which is actually a great tip to know right now, so I don't have to bring out a guide or whatever, so I can actually just go through this first playthrough and we just doing whatever, basically, just testing the waters and all of that. And that comment also insinuated that it's a bit more complex than what it seems to be, which is very cool. I actually like this delusion system in other visual novels. I mean, I could probably name a couple. Well, no, I really can't name a couple. But in some other visual novels, the most typical interactivity in them is simple choices, which is do I want to go out with this girl or this girl? Not every visual novel, obviously, but quite a bit of them, especially in dating sims. Simple choices like that. While here, it's delusions themselves, which actually goes into the psychology of Takayami, a lot better. We actually get to see how he can perceive reality by, which one we choose to see, obviously. And we can tell, from the first couple, we're only 3 videos into this series, Takayami is not a very stable person. You could just say he's a schizophrenic otaku. Maybe you could say, who is afraid of other people. I feel like he's just afraid, especially with that with those interactions with Yue last episode of he's kind of afraid, even though in his mind he says, "Oh, get out of here, you stupid bitch! Stop, talking to me or whatever." He longs for interactions with other people, and the delusion system is really helpful in that, in what ways how his thoughts affect reality according to his vision, be it something erotic or something gruesome. Which I really like that a lot. It's a unique system that really delves more into the main character's psychology, which is the entire point of this game. It's a psychological horror for a reason. And I feel like this is a great way to do it, to show you that the characters could be an unreliable narrator if at these certain points you can create these delusions, then what's to say other things aren't just delusions? Like, you know, the guy impaled by 100 crosses and a girl covered in blood. Did that really happen? I mean, we haven't seen any news articles confirming that did happen. So, what is it? Maybe it was just simply a delusion Takumi got from those images Shogun sent to him. It could have been just that, because it seems like as we've seen from his delusions, he can make it so realistic, so real to himself, not to anyone else around him, but to himself only. And in that alleyway, he was the only person there besides a quote-unquote girl there with pink hair covered in blood, which is reminiscent of his, favorite waifu, who also has pink hair as well. So who's to say that isn't a delusion? See, that's why I like it so much, because we can have conversations like that. Like, that's so cool already. Even though we're barely getting into this game, I just all find it so fascinating to think and talk about. But yes, as always, thank you for the comments and keep them coming. And yeah, let's get right into it. The math teacher. Wait, what was his name again? Well, whatever. The teacher left the classroom, and that was the end of classes for the day. Some students started chatting about where they go after school. Those who were in clubs gathered with their fellow members and headed for their club rooms. The rest were just getting ready to go home ASAP. I was in the last camp. As soon as the bell rang, I was always the first to pack up and leave. But today I stayed glued to my seat, trying to avoid eye contact with any of my classmates. My anxiety was killing me. After all, my date with Yua was very soon. Any normal non-video obsessed person would have been losing their mind to have a date with a girl planned. But this was me we were talking about, and I couldn't feel any more depressed. I couldn't relax at all. I was feeling physically sick. This would be the first time I'd ever gone on a date with a girl, so I had no clue what to do. Besides, would Yua even show up? Maybe she'd just been fucking with me yesterday, and she planned on standing me up. She was probably watching from the shadows right now, giggling at how gullible I was. Well, now that I thought about it, that honestly might be better than her actually showing up. Wait, did I really have to just sit around waiting? I mean, I could just blow her off and go home. Alright, settled. Time to head home. We were in different grades anyway, so if I just canceled her date at the last minute, I never have to see her again for the rest of my life. Fully determined to follow through with that plan, I stood up. Oh, goddammit, Battler. Out of nowhere, my back fell victim to a hard slap. I knew who was behind me without even looking. The only guy in class who ever talked to me, none other than Misumi-kun.
いつもならチャイムが鳴ると同時に消えるのによ。俺密かに匠の音速直帰って名付けてたんだぜ。もう帰るよ。誰か待ってるとか。え？
How the hell did he know?
なんだよ、図星かよ。どうして？なんだかやけにそわそわしてたからな。教室の入り口をさっきから何度も気にしてるし。
He was good. Either way, I probably shouldn't say anything that make me stand out too much. Don't you forget, Takumi. You gotta be invisible at the school. You gotta blend in, be like air.
別に誰も待ってないよ。そうか？だったら今の間はなんだよ。それは。
Fuck. Masumi-kun wasn't a bad guy, but at times like these, he could get really fucking annoying. Take a hint, for fuck's sake.
Nishijou-kun?
Oh. Shivers ran down my spine. I slowly turned my head towards the voice. Yuya was standing by the classroom door, looking apologetic. Oh, god damn it. Because of Masumi-kun, I'd lost my chance to escape.
なんだりゃ、どういうことだ？
Masumi-kun looked unusually shocked. In fact, he was literally shaking. Put his arm around my shoulder and gave me a stern look.
おいタク、どういうことか説明しろよ。お前の彼女か？
違うよ。
How many times have I told you, Masumi-kun? I'm not into 3D.
だったら何なんだよ。言っとくが、タクの姉ちゃんとかそういうオチは期待してねえからな。引きこもりのくせに何をどうやったらあんないい女と知り合えるんだ。
昨日急に付きまとわれて。
そりゃつまりあれか？逆難されたってことか？え？この
He put his hand on his chin, pondering for a moment. Then he finally let me go.
そうか。世の中には物好きってのもいるんだな。けどタクがまともな性癖を持ってたみたいで少し安心したぜ。
Half normal sex life, huh? Thanks.
性癖って。それに彼女とは別に何も。
そうかそうか。頑張れよ、タク。
Masumi-kun wasn't taking me seriously at all. He just got all excited over his own assumptions and swung my back even harder than before. Ugh. At this point, he was just screwing with me.
安心しろって。お前の女を寝取ったりしねえから。
だからそういう関係じゃ。
ほら、さっさと行けよ。彼女、お待ちかねみたいだぜ。
Masumi-kun ordered me to move, so I stumbled over to Yua. Despite my best efforts, I hadn't been able to escape.
迎えに来たの迷惑でした？
いや。
Yes, you fucking are. Turned to look at Masumi-kun, but he just grinned and gave me the finger. Honestly, I couldn't tell whether he was trying to pick a fight or cheer me on. Couldn't deal with his shit any longer, so I decided to just hurry up and leave with Yua.
すいません。昨日会ったばかりなのにこんなお願いをしてしまって。
いや。
I was so nervous. I was leaving school together with a 3D girl. Was I a normie now or what? It always felt like this was all in a completely different world from mine. Never would have thought I'd get to experience something like this. But now I was feeling the intense pressure of Yua's silence. We were just walking side by side, not even talking. So why was it so stressful? To top it all off, I didn't really know who Yua was or what her goal was. Just, what did she want from an otaku freak like me?
おとといの。
いや。
She started talking to me out of nowhere, so I got surprised. That weird sound I made just came out. Yua also seemed really nervous. Her expression was so tense. She was older than me, so how was she still so innocent? How surprisingly moe. Then again, I probably wasn't the best person to be talking about innocence, since I could hardly manage more than a quick sidelong glance at her. I was too embarrassed to take a proper look at her face. I just couldn't do it.
おとといのブラチュー見ましたよね？
うん。
私、一箇所だけいまいちよくわからないところがあったんですけど、すすぶくんがセイラちゃんのピンチに駆けつけてきて助けてくれますよね。でもどうしてすすむくんはセイラちゃんが危ないって分かったのかなって。
あれは先週の回に伏線があったんだ。セイラの携帯が鳴ってるシーンが一瞬だけ挿入されてて、着信表示で進むの名前が出てる。
そういえばそんなシーンありましたね。
山田がそういう細かい伏線をあちこちに貼るのが好きなんだ。キンゴルでも似たようなことをやってた。
山田くキンゴル？
いや、山田くっていうのはブラチューの監督の愛称だよ。 で山拓がブラチューの前に監督やってたアニメがキンゴール。
へえ、じゃあ山拓さんって有名な監督さんなんですね。
まあ僕は好きな方かな。なんでかっていうと
Oh. I had been lecturing Yua about the various facets of anime when I realized we were already in front of Anime 8. Time flew by way faster than I expected. I let myself get carried away and talked way too much. Well, didn't help that Yua was such a good listener. She paid such close attention when I shared my wisdom. Couldn't help but want to tell her everything I knew, even though I knew I was falling right into a trap. All of this, and yet I wasn't even good at talking. This was the first time I had ever felt this way. I was talking out loud, but it felt like I was chatting online. It was a strange feeling. Feel that, brother?
なんだかドキドキしてきました。先に帰ったりしないでくださいね。
うん。
Yua only got more and more nervous as she went up and spoke to the store employee. It was clear that she was put out of her comfort zone, but all I could do was just stand there and watch as she placed the pre-order for the post-awakened version Sarah figure. There weren't any opportunities to escape. Yua kept anxiously glancing back at me, so I couldn't budge an inch. Right after that, she even forced me to look around the store with her. Yua was looking all around with a big grin on her face, saying things like, wow, there's not enough money in the world to buy all these figures, but even in the face of all that enthusiasm, I just couldn't find it in me to smile back at her. Damn. Ah, yes, my favorite fast food joint, Daniels hamburgers. It's like the God, what the hell was the Dr. Pepper thing in Steins Gate? What the hell was it called? It was called like Dr. something. Like some stupid bullshit, like Dr. Jobs or some shit. Yes, McDaniels. McDaniels. So apparently you took the train to school, which meant I had to accompany her all the way to Shinshin Station. She might not look like it, but she was a devious one, alright? She always managed to get her way, all without making herself look even more selfish. Clever girl. Talk about wolf in sheep's clothing.
西条くんって携帯は持ってないんですか？
Once we reached the station, Yua suddenly asked me that question. Cell phone? Shook my head weakly.
持ってないんですか。それじゃ連絡が取れないですね。
連絡
Why the hell would she want to say that and stay in touch? What, was she going to demand that I texted her about every little thing for the rest of my life?
でも西条くんパソコン持ってましたよね。私も持ってるからメールアドレスを交換しませんか？
どうして？
そのフィギュアの発売日に取りに行かなくちゃいけませんよね。その時にまた一緒に。まだ一人でアニメ8に行く勇気はないから。
She was good.
それに
She was way too good.
私西条くんと
I knew she had her claws in me, but I just couldn't turn her down. If I did, I'd look like the bad guy.
もっと
3D was the scariest fucking thing in the world.
仲良くなりたいから。
Aww. How was she doing this? Was it just because I was bad at talking to people? Or was she just too good? Either way, Yua seemed intent on not leaving until she had my email, yet at the same time I could sense a bit of unease behind those glasses of hers. could practically feel my will to resist draining from my body. There were goosebumps over my body, shivers running down my spine, but I couldn't run away. I couldn't turn her down. There was definitely something up with Yua. This aura she had, it wasn't normal. I couldn't really put into words exactly what it was that bothered me so much, but whatever it was, something wasn't right. Maybe it's just like, you just talking to the girl, man. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I'm just, that's my input on the whole situation. And you like her? maybe that's perhaps it. Before I knew it, they'd torn out a scrap of notebook paper, went down my email address, and handed it to her. She took it, looking happy as she can be, and then quickly bowed her head and disappeared into the station. Felt like my soul had left my body. I just stood there, completely dumbfounded. Even after 10 minutes passed, I couldn't move an inch. Back to the lab again. Yeah. So, what do you make of all this? Of her? Because personally, I don't have the slightest clue. There's no way she doesn't have ulterior motives or something. Doesn't make any sense otherwise. Hey, you listening, Grim? What a woke is this? That night I decided to consult Grim about Yua. I figured I might as well. If I just kept my paranoia to myself, I wouldn't get anywhere. And that was the response I'd gotten. Well, no one could blame him. First time I'd spoken with Yua, I reacted the exact same way. It was stupid of me to think you would be any help, Grim. Now, wait a fucking second. You were being serious? You actually managed to raise a flag with someone? You really have a way of getting whatever you want, huh? Well, who said they weren't into 3D again? It's not like that, dude. Grim's reaction was almost identical to Miss Masumi-kun's. Are they the same person or something? Well, for a turbo version like you, Neidhart, now that you have a girl, it should be easy to leave Otaku Doom behind and lose your V card. You gotta be careful, though. Like, if you start talking to her about your school swimsuit fetish, she'll dump your ass, so use common sense. What's wrong with a school swimsuit fetish? Is that seriously your fucking email notification? This guy's hopeless. I better do something quick. Oh? Out of nowhere I heard Seratan's voice. That was my custom email notification sound. I casually went to check my email, and sender's name was... Kuzunoki Yua.
うわ、早速来た。
I got an email. Just now. Well, there it is. This was the first time I ever got an email from a 3D girl. I gulped and quick to open it. Interesting. Good evening, this is Kuzunoki. I sent this email as soon as I was able to. I would appreciate it if you added me to your address book. My apologies for making you accompany me today. I'm sorry. Even so, I still had a lot of fun. Perhaps because it was my first time going to a store like that. Or maybe it was because Nishijou-kun was with me. Well, what time will you be coming to school tomorrow, Nishijou-kun? Oh, I'm only asking because I was hoping I'd be able to say hello tomorrow morning, that's all. It would be nice if we could run into each other again tomorrow. Well, I'll be sure to email you again soon. Good night. Yua's usual elegance and purity shone through the email, and by using a lot of emoticons, she gave it a bit of a friendly tone, too. But when she said things like, maybe it was because Nishijou-kun was with me, or I was hoping I'd be able to say hello tomorrow morning, I just couldn't help but feel like she was up to something. Posting now. It's tame, chill the fuck out. His usual greetings and shit. Whatever, bro, just post it. Post it already. Do not take advice from this dude. It's my advice to you, Takumi. Just copy and paste. Grim wouldn't stop pestering me, so I just gave up and posted the entire email, though I did censor my and Yua's personal information at least. Oh, would you look at that lovey-dovey email? Carry yourself, Nightheart, you normie scum. Please take this seriously. This must be some kind of trap. Yeah, how tight that tinfoil hat you got on. Sure not I don't faking it. Just looks like you raised the flag with this chick to me. You almost had the good end already. Now that's what I mean, there's no way this is real. You think this could happen to an otaku freak like me? There's no way. You think a cute girl would try to pick me up IRL? Dude, well, are you seriously complimenting your GF already? Ha! Just quit your trolling for 1 second. Come on, I already told you. You're just overthinking it. We're two of a kind, aren't we, Nightheart? Both know good girls like that don't exist anymore. Yeah, I was fully aware, but she really was just that nice, and that's exactly what didn't feel right to me. Well, maybe your stalking shit went a bit too far, but that's kind of hot, don't you think? I mean, she really likes you. And you said she likes anime too? Yeah, no way such a perfect GF exists, bro. Not for us otaku anyway, bro. Just to go wooing her with your degenerate shit. Well, that might not be so bad. No, scratch that. That was exactly what I wanted. Still, cheer her up a bit. She made the first move, bro. What if she was sent by the government or the FBI, Grim? Chill out, man. We're in Japan. God damn it. Maybe it could be the translation. But this feels so like it's such internet talk, you know? Should I give credit to the translation or to like the original script? Well, either way, I mean, translation still takes a lot of skill. It's not just like copy and paste like into like just translating the words. You also have to like put them into like a better cultural like effect. Like translation is a lot more than just simply, you know, translating all of that. But I have to commend it because there have been fucking conversations I've had with people on the internet that are kind of like this. Like, no fucking joke. No fucking joke. It's kind of realistic in a way. You know, the whole guy being like, "There's no fucking way, dude. He was sent by the fucking internet." You know, I shouldn't say that. If I say that, you guys are gonna know how much of a fucking online son of a bitch I am. She's a glowy. God, I feel hung out with too many people. I'm not into 3D. You say that, but we both know you really want to go out with her. Am I right? If you want to de-otakify yourself, now's your chance. You won't get a second one, and you know it. Congrats, you're popular now. Won't last long, so don't let it go to waste. Just keep calm and go on the attack. Just be Nightheart IRL, you can do it. You got the green light, bro. If I could just do it, I wouldn't be going through so much turmoil. Ugh. Like, I realized something when I was talking with Yua the other day. Sure, there were a couple moments where I had fun or felt happy, but aside from that, I just felt annoyed and completely exhausted. If that was what I had to go through with every IRL interaction, then I honestly rather just live in the 2D world where I could just do whatever I wanted. And that was why I decided not to reply to you as an email. A fire burned bright into the sky. Scorching red cinders danced around the incinerator. The flame was fueled by a sailor-style school uniform, along with countless textbooks. On a foothill overlooking the Seto Inland Sea, a girl stood in her home's garden. The steam whistles of boats echoed in the distance. The nearby trees gently swayed in a refreshing sea breeze. In the midst of such a serene scene, the girl, Ohara Kozui, Ohara Kozui, stood still and alone in front of the incinerator, bathing the somber ambience of its cinders. The girl's gaze was locked onto the school uniform and textbooks as they were slowly reduced to ashes, each becoming clad in that crimson glimmer. Only until yesterday they had been her school uniform and her textbooks. Despite having lit the fire herself, the girl did not move from the spot, perhaps out of a lingering sense of regret. That, too, lasted only a moment. She suddenly knitted her eyebrows and covered her ears as hard as she could. She gasped in agony, and yet she did nothing more. The girl did not moan, nor did she raise any tearful complaints. All she let out was a series of ragged breaths. She shook her head repeatedly from side to side as if to express a fierce visceral objection. And as she did, her strength slowly started to crumble, and she collapsed to the ground. She fell on her backside with a thud, and let her jaw droop as if utterly exhausted, and looked up to the sky with a dazed expression on her face. Minutes later, she was still in that exact same position, not having moved a single muscle. Until suddenly, she turned around with conviction, as if she had heard someone call out to her. She looked towards the house's porch. The wooden house had been built over 50 years ago, so despite it being daytime, it appeared quite dim. Anything beyond the porch would barely be seen. Kozui slowly stood back up and walked over to the porch, and at that very moment her mother appeared with impeccable timing.
あら、梢ちゃん、探してたのよ。もう荷物の整理はできたの？
Kozui, I should probably just say Kozui. Kozui promptly nodded and slowly sat down.
あさってにはもうこの家ともお別れなのね。
Her mother took a seat next to her, gazing towards the inland sea with a gentle look in her eye.
東京なんて行くの、梢ちゃんは初めてよね。いいお友達ができるといいわね。
Despite her mother's caring words, Kozui did not nod, nor even shake her head in response. She simply remained silent, gazing wistfully towards the still burning incinerator in the corner of the garden. What the fuck are those vignettes about? What the fuck? Dude, what is this game? Like, what the like... I mean, I'm trying to like form some sort of coherent thought about like what I could take away from that scene. Just a lot of girls. I don't know. That's all I can think of. Now I'm thinking back to when Shogun said the world's possibilities are like have been limited, and he put down that equation. What does that mean? The world's possibilities. Ooh, God. What is this game about? Another week came, and with it another school day. As usual, I headed to school with my head hung low, depressed as ever. And one autumn was starting to come into full swing. The leaves of the trees in Shoto Park were slowly changing color, and I was starting to feel chilly in my short-sleeved uniform. I suppose it made sense that I'd be surprised by the change of season, given I rarely went outside in the first place. I still hadn't really registered that summer had ended. My weekend had consisted of nonstop ESO. Grim had kept on bugging me about Yua, but I just ignored him. I hadn't gotten an email from Yua since that first one. I hadn't replied to her first one either, so maybe she'd finally given up on me. I really hoped that was the case. Yeah. Whenever I talked to Yua, my feelings always got all jumbled up. Those interactions almost made me have a little hope. But there was no point in being so optimistic. At the end of the day, I was just an otaku freak. My whole life, I never ever had any success with 3D, so I had just given up on it. Please, don't give me any hope. Please don't have any hope for me. Just as I thought that, someone tapped my shoulder from behind. Figured it was Nanami or Misumi-kun, but when I turned around, I was shocked.
Nishijou-kun!
Yua was looking at me with a smile on her face. Her cheeks were a little flushed. Why was she so out of breath?
後ろ姿が見えたから、もしかしたら西条くんかなって思って走って追いかけちゃいました。
Had she really not given up yet? Did she still have some hope left in me?
おはようございます、西条くん。やっと言えました。土日を含めて4日もかかってしまいましたけど。先週メールを送ったんですけど、読んでもらってます？
I found myself nodding out of reflex.
よかった。返事がなかったからてっきり届いていないかと思って何度か送り直そうとしたんですけど、我慢しておいて正解でした。
Seriously, what the hell did Yua want from me? Did she expect me to like her back? Did she want me to be her boyfriend? Then did she want us to live out some intimate lovey-dovey fantasy together? There's no way I could do that. No way I could be that normal, no matter how hard I tried. I wanted to, but it just wasn't possible. I still didn't understand why Yua even liked me in the first place. It just made it all the more impossible to trust her. Damn. I have to say, maybe this is a bad thing to say, but I think you credit to the writing. There's just some things about Takumi that I relate to. It's mostly due to the thoughts and shit. I'm a very self-doubting person about myself. I very much am, just like Takumi, in which try to kick that habit of mine, but yeah, sometimes so. Sometimes I do think, why do people like me? Jeez. Alright. So I just couldn't do it.
西条くん、どうしたんですか？
Why do all of it... The three fucking visual novels I've played so far all have to be so goddamn personally. like connect to me in such a personal fucking way. Maybe that's why they're most popular.
ずっと立ち止まってるので。
Upon realizing that, I quickly started to walk away, leaving Yua behind, but before I could get very far, Yua had already caught up with me.
昨日、西条くんのクラスに行ったんですけど、いませんでしたよね。もしかして風邪でもひいて休んでるんじゃないかと思って心配だったんです。でも、元気そうでよかった。
たまにしか。
はい？
僕、たまにしか学校来ない。みんなから引きこもりって思われてる。
Did that break the spell? You're totally disillusioned now that you know the truth, right? If so, I didn't mind. I never got my hopes up anyway. Go ahead and call me an otaku freak, and then after that, never talk to me again.
そうですか。でも、今日は会えてよかったです。
I was left speechless. All I could manage to do was stare at you and smile, but when our eyes met, I got flustered and looked down. How was she not disgusted by me?
っていうか、たまにでも学校に来てるなら、西条くんは引きこもりじゃないと思います。すいません。分かったようなこと言っちゃって。
でも つだよ。
だとしたら偉いです。
え？
I never thought I'd ever hear someone say that to me. What the hell was respectable about a total loser like me? Gentle smile had spread over Yua's face. A smile so sweet it could cure any disease. That was generally what I thought in that moment.
だって西条くんは辛いのに頑張って学校に来ていますから。普通なら普通は来られないですよ。
でも僕はオタだしキモいし。
私西条くんの話を聞くの好きですよ。
What the hell? What was with all this validation? Why did hearing it make me feel so good about myself? Felt like Yua was embracing me all the way down to my core. Like she was giving me the right to be here, to exist in this moment. Felt like when I was with her, maybe I could even be a normal person again. Again, huh?
大変予礼ですよ。
I didn't realize until now, but almost all the students were already gone. Everyone had made their way into the school building.
西条くん、それじゃあ私失礼します。あ、今日の放課後時間ありますか？
え？
もしよかったらその一緒に帰りましょう。
With a timid tone, Yua mumbled her words, a faint blush on her cheeks.
放課後中庭で待ってます。もし気が向いたら来てください。あ、無理に来なくても全然平気ですから。失礼します。
Yua bowed elegantly and darted off towards the third-year classrooms. I watched her disappear into the building. Then I pinched my cheek. It really wasn't a dream, or a delusion. I couldn't focus on my classes all day after that. Or rather, I didn't bother trying to focus. I just rested my head on my hand, staring sluggishly into the autumn sky outside the window. My teachers, my classmates, none of them ever paid any attention to me. But Yua did. Yua was different from the other shitbags at this school. I couldn't stop thinking about her. Couldn't stop having delusions about her, and before I knew it, classes were over for the day.
よ、タク。今日もデートか？この前のメガネのことはうまくいってるんだろうな。おいおい、ニートだからって躊躇してんなよ。向こうがお前のこと気に入ってくれてんなら、付き合うか付き合わないかはともかく、やっちまうのが礼儀。
そんなことしないよ。
おい、なんだよいきなり大声出して。
ユアとはそんなことしない。
は？お前まだ言ってんの？なんで最初から諦めるんだよ。そろそろ引きこもりから卒業しようぜ。
僕は引きこもりじゃない。
That wasn't even what this was about. But there was no point in trying to explain that to Masumi-kun, a guy who only fought with a long head. So ignoring how puzzled Masumi-kun was, I quickly made my way out of this classroom. The shortest path from here to the courtyard is through the skyway to the third-year building, then down the stairs, I think. I didn't come to school often enough to have a good grasp on the way out. I didn't even know where half the club rooms were. So I was a little bit anxious as I walked down the hallway to the next building. Whoa. As I walked, I noticed a girl standing alone in the middle of the hall, staring up at the sky. Her face looked stiff, so despite her looking out the window, it wasn't in the wistful kind of way. She was obviously in everyone's way, but she didn't seem to care in the slightest. Well, I gotta get the delinquent girl, huh? I know you can hear me walking towards you. What's wrong, will you? I'm in a bit of a hurry here. I was getting real DKQN vibes from her, and I didn't want anything to do with it. So I tried to keep my distance and sweep by girl B without getting noticed.
おい
Oh boy. Oh shit. Was she talking to me? Fuck. Was she going to friend me and take all my money, or take me to the DQN hangout spot and have me winch just because she didn't like my vase, or worse? Give me a fucking break. What have I ever done to deserve this? I looked towards girl B. She was staring at me.
お前誰だ
Did she just ask me that? Nishijou Takumi, but this is the first time I've ever spoken to her, so obviously she won't know that. So I was right. Whatever she wants from me, it can't be good.
すいません。
I quickly bowed to avoid looking good girl B in the face and ran away as fast as I could. After bolting through the hall, down the stairs, and out the door, I shot a look behind me at the third year building. It seemed like the scary girl hadn't come after me. I was safe. To be completely honest, I was getting tired of all this bullshit. Wherever I went in the third dimension, I was always running into another goddamn trap. It took a second to catch my breath, then looked for the courtyard. The courtyard was between the school building and the pool. It was so narrow, it was more like a path to an actual garden. There were a few evenly spaced flower beds spread across the courtyard. The violet-colored flowers were especially eye-catching. What kind of flowers are those? I wondered, but I really didn't have a clue. And standing in front of the flower beds was none other than Yua. She stood still, gazing at the flowers listlessly. Just like she promised, she really waited for me here. She'd waited for me, and me alone. Yua hadn't betrayed me. Maybe I could trust her. Maybe she really was the savior I've been looking for. Yua looked up and noticed me standing there. In a moment later, her eyes widened. I got shy and looked away, frozen in place. Should I walk towards her? I don't know. Why was she so surprised? Maybe I shouldn't have come. But as I was lost in thought, Yua ran over to me.
びっくりしました。
え？
西条くんが本当に来てくれるなんて。どうせ来てもらえないって諦めかけてたんです。でも待っててよかった。
Oh. I was taken aback. Yua was thinking the same way as me. We both had the same pessimistic mindset. But there was one clear place that we differed. Whenever I had negative thoughts, I'd freeze up and do nothing. But whenever Yua had negative thoughts, she'd take action anyway. I seriously respected her initiative. I wanted to be like that too.
一緒に帰ってくれますか？
She timidly asked me, and I nodded in response. Walking side by side, the two of us passed through the school gate. It was a little embarrassing. Felt like other students were staring daggers at me, green with envy. And the more aware of that I became, the more anxious I got. I guess I was right. Felt like I can't walk home alone with a girl. Who the fuck is this guy? Okay. Just a random guy, whatever. We crossed paths with a teacher I'd never seen before. That was a teacher? He fucking did what is he? He's like 28? We crossed paths with a teacher I'd never seen before, or at least I assumed he was a teacher, since he was wearing a suit instead of a school uniform. Yeah, that's just a local businessman, Terrence, just hangs out around the academy. But was he a little young to be? Hey, they actually say... They actually point that out. Good. Because I'm like, that guy looks way too fucking young. But wasn't he a little young to be a teacher? Well, I already ever came to school, so it only made sense. I wouldn't know what half the teachers looked like. Hell, sometimes I even forgot what my homeroom teacher looked like. The teacher in the suit was looking around restlessly as he headed for the school building.
どうしました？
Who the fuck is that red herring, huh? Not knowing how to react, I quickly shook my head, returned to Yua's side, and went back to walking with her. We said we'd walk home together, but my base was only 10 minutes from school. Meanwhile, Yua needed to go all the way to Shinsen Station, so I needed to accompany her before I could go home. Yeesh. But by force of habit, I led Yua into Shoto Park. The park was something of a shortcut on my route to school, saving me about a minute each way.
西条くんって朝よくこの公園でパンを食べてませんか？
あ、うん。
How did you know that?
やっぱりよく見かけたんです。でもいる時といない時があって、今日ようやくその謎が解けました。学校にたまにしか来ないからだったんですね。あ、別にそれがダメって言ってるわけじゃなくてですね。素朴な疑問だったので。
うん。
Yua suddenly stopped, turning towards the bench I always ate breakfast on. Nobody was sitting there at the moment.
なんだかここに座っているあなたの背中はすごく辛そうに見えて。
Yua bent forward slightly, gently stroking the back of the bench.
何度も見かけるうちにだんだん気になってきて。
The bench was right in front of the fence by the pond. Whenever you sat on it, you could just stare out at the pond without needing to worry about whether others might be looking at you. It was right by the watermill too, making it even more inconspicuous. That was another huge plus.
ここ最近は姿を見かけなかった日は心配でご飯も喉を通らなかったりしてたんです。
Jeez. Really? Never noticed her looking at me when I was here.
バカみたいですよね。一度も話したこともない人の心配してるなんて。でも話しかける勇気もなかったので。
So her initial stalking was an extension of that. Or maybe not stalking per se, maybe she'd just been looking out for me.
ちょっと座ってみてもいいですか？西条くんがどんな景色を見ていたのか、私も知りたいから。
I didn't really have much of a reason to refuse. I nodded my head, still facing out towards the lake. Yua placed her bag on top of the bench and quietly took a seat. She then straightened her posture and gazed out at the lake. It was so incredibly quiet, so incredibly serene. And Yua was sitting right by my side. A gentle breeze drew ripples on the water and softly swayed Yua's hair. Was this what it felt like to be a normie? It's not so fun you're having, man. God damn it, why? It's reminding me that stupid image, that stupid meme image. It's like a picture of like a beautiful valley and mountains and whatever. The caption says like, "Man, I wish I was in my room jerking off." That's just Takumi. man, I wish I was in my shipping container jacking off. The situation was so ordinary, so casual. So when did I feel like I was about to cry?
ここで朝食をとるのって気持ちよさそうですよね。
I looked at the side of Yua's face as she whispered that. If I were an Oge, I swear she'd confess her love, and we lean in, kiss, and the good end credits would roll. And who knows, if the situation called for it, maybe we get straight into some exhibitionism. JK.
私も今度やってみようかな。
Yua turned and looked up at me. Unable to find the words to say, I looked down at Yua's bag. Cursing my inability to maintain eye contact with a girl, I stared instead at the free Grego froggy straps hanging from her bag. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, now I'm very curious. Wait. Okay, you know what? I should make a bet. How about I make a bet right now? I'm going to choose the good delusion. I'm going to choose the good delusion, and the frogs are going to come to life. Now, the question is, what the hell would the bad delusion mean for these frogs? I'm gonna go with good. I'm curious. I'm curious about this. Like that same comment that discussed how the delusions only affect the first playthrough also suggested to me that I should probably choose something during these, which is probably a good idea just to see, just see what the hell happens. Really. All right, let's go with good. I'm curious. I'm curious about these frogs. Something about the scene was really nagging at me. And that thing was the Grego Froggies, characters that were popular with high school girls. But I'd seen those exact ones before, hadn't I? Where, though? At your sister's phone? Flashback! That's right. Nanami had one attached to her cell phone. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, it was probably normal. What did I think was so strange about it? I was just paranoid over nothing. So stupid. Nanami did say that Grego Froggies were super popular with high school girls, so well, it shouldn't come as no surprise that you had some too. Yep, nothing out of the ordinary here. Not even slightly. Sometimes having such a big imagination really sucked. With how terrifying my delusions could be, it got so much worse.
Nishijou-kun?
Yua was looking at me, tilting her head in confusion, not knowing how to reply. I just forced a smile.
それ本当に流行ってるんだなってゲロカエルン
Huh? What kind of reaction was that? Why had her expression turned so stiff? Had I said something wrong? All I had done was mention that Grego Froggies is a conversation starter, nothing else. So then why... Why had her smile, that gentle smile she had this entire time, suddenly vanished? Why did she hang her head as if she didn't want to even look at me? I couldn't tell what kind of expression she was making anymore. It all gave me a terrible feeling I just couldn't shake. When I first laid eyes on those three Grego Froggies hanging from her bag, I'd been hit by a massive sense of deja vu. Really, looking back, I guess my instincts were right. I had seen those three Grego Froggies somewhere before. Now that I mentioned them, Yua was freaking out. Suspicion slowly crept through my head until it completely took over my mind. I wanted to trust Yua, but I didn't know if I should.
ゲロカエル西条くんも知ってるんですね。
Ooh, what is this music? Her voice lacked even the least bit of composure.
本当に大人気ですよね。私もあんまり可愛いとは思わなかったりするんですけど、何人かの友達からもらっちゃって気がついたら3つになってまして。
The more Yua spun her tail, the more artificial it felt. She wasn't looking at me, she didn't even try to. Her smile was gone, even though until that very moment she'd been so gentle, so sweet. I started to feel dead inside. Please don't say anything more, I begged inside my head.
見せてあげましょうか。
Yua reached out for her bag, trying to take the Grego Froggy straps off of it.
ちょっと待ってくださいね。
Her hands were trembling. She frantically tried to pull them off of her bag, but they just wouldn't budge.
変だな。どうして外れないんでしょう。絡まっちゃってるのかな。
Whoa, shit. Yua pulled on the straps a bit too hard, causing the bag to fall off the bench. The bag was unzipped, so all of her notebooks and textbooks spilled out into the ground.
私ったら何をやってるんでしょう。
Just a few minutes ago, I might have even thought of Yua's ditziness as moe, but at the present moment I was just frozen in place. And that was because one of the fallen notebooks had flipped open. Tons of notes and newspaper snippets were scattered across the ground. It looked like it was some sort of scrapbook, and all the notes, all the newspaper snippets, everything was focused on a certain string of cases. And its name was written there, clear as day. New Gen. What the fuck? Oh, shit. Wait. Oh, wait. Now this is the... Now this is a good part right now. Because I can't tell if this is still the delusion yet. It hasn't ended. The previous two ones, there was obvious like a big change in tone. But with this one, I can't tell if it has ended or not. Is this still the delusion? But it shows the positive one. Why would this be the positive one instead of the bad one? Ooh, this mechanic just gets more and more interesting. I love it. Okay. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, this story can go in so many different ways.
なんて
My voice came out lagged. Yua, in a panic, started frantically gathering everything up and shoving it back into her bag. Once she did, she held the bag close to her chest and stood up. She looked toward me and nodded, her expression intensely uncomfortable, a smile from before was nowhere to be found.
それは
I mean, she was what? I guess she was, yeah. Yeah. That's where we saw the free Gregor flowers before. It was in the internet cafe where she was looking up Lucha. Yua didn't answer, so... Yeah, this has to be real then. I guess the delusion was only just a flashback to Nanami's cell phone. Gotcha. But is that going to be the case for all the delusions? Is it going to be so obvious, or is it going to be so subtle? Ooh. Oh, shit. Ooh, this is good. This is good. Okay. Why wouldn't she talk to me? Please just say something, anything. Even still, she said nothing, which meant she must have realized that she'd been caught red-handed. I'd wanted to trust her so badly, and she's been starting to think that maybe Yua was actually on my side, that she could have been an ally.
誰も信じちゃダメ。誰の言葉にも耳を傾けちゃダメ。
Jeez. In the end, Sarah was right. 3D girls were the worst pieces of shit imaginable, every last one of them. Yua never liked me at all. She only wanted to get close because she had ulterior motives. Maybe she wanted to turn me into the police. Maybe she wanted to blackmail me. God damn it. God fucking damn it. I almost forgotten all about that incident, yet here we go again. The police had never questioned me, so I thought that maybe I could go on pretending it had nothing to do with me. All I wanted was to get away from those stupid murders. Well, so why? What the hell was you really after here? No, I didn't even care anymore. I just wanted to run as far away as I could, so I went to turn around. But you quickly grabbed my wrist.
逃げるの？
Whoa. Her voice sent chills down my spine. Her tone was so cold, it felt like my body might freeze over. It didn't feel like she was the same person. It wasn't the Yua I thought I knew. Her grip was way tighter than I expected. It wasn't normal. Jolts of pain ran through my arm. My bones felt like they were being crushed. I tried to shake her off me, but she wouldn't let go. In fact, she was pulling me towards her, practically pinning my arm behind my back.
逃げるの？
Oh shit. From behind me, right by my ear, I heard a whisper that crushed any emotion I had left. With a shiver, I slowly turned around. Whoa. She was staring at me. There was no longer any color left in those eyes of hers.
逃がさないよ。騙してたことは謝るけど、お互い様だし。
Oh shit.
あなただって隠してたことあるよね。
I'm hiding things? Only a single thing crossed my mind. Somehow she knew that I had witnessed that staking murder. She knew that I had seen the perpetrator. And that was most likely why she tried to get close to me. I knew she was good, too good. She'd had me wrapped around her little finger. Everything she told me was a lie. Her taking an interest in me from just one glance. Her liking blood tune. Her arranging to go with me to go pick up the Sarah Post Awakening version figure from the store when it went on sale. All of her nice little comments that she listened to what I had to say, her wanting to get to know me better, her being worried about me when I didn't come to school, her saying that she respected me. Everything that came from her mouth had been a lie. That thought killed me inside. I was overwrought with greed. I tightly clenched my fists. Fuck. I had breathed a single fucking thing she said.
本当はもっと時間をかけて調べたかったんだけど、バレちゃったからしょうがないよね。あなたに聞いてもらいたい話があるの。
Oh, fuck.
聞いてくれるよね。聞かないなんて言わないよね。あなたは聞くべきよ。聞いて。聞くでしょ。聞かないなら。
What would happen if I don't listen? You is almost a completely different person now. The gentle and carefree atmosphere before was completely gone now. She felt completely unapproachable now. The atmosphere felt bizarre, like one molded from under obsession. Her tone was as composed as could be, though perhaps cold as ice was a better description. Her usual femininity was completely gone. No, I didn't want to listen. I tried to cover my ears, but I couldn't. Yua was holding onto one of my arms. Her grip was weaker than a second ago, but she still didn't let go. I couldn't move my hand. And while we were in that deadlock, she took a dark, gray, shiny object from her bag and held it out to me. Shit. I was petrified. My heart skipped a beat. Any composure I'd left was gone. I was so shocked, the hand that was going to cover my ear just fell to my side. Before long, Yua's voice, now sounded almost regretful, reached my ears.
この十字架に見覚えあるよね。
Of course, I'd definitely seen it before. I wasn't sure what it was at first, but I quickly realized it might have looked like a cross, but it was in fact a stake. And stakes with such a unique shape were not something you'd see every day. Or at the very least, I'd only come across them once. That night, scattered across that alleyway. That night, as the demon girl nailed them into the wall. That night, as a corpse was being nailed onto the wall.
やっぱり知ってるのね。知ってるんでしょ。知ってるに決まってる。知らないなんて言わせない。
Shit.
知ってなくちゃおかしい。知ってるよね。知ってるよね。
I frantically shook my head in denial. A disgusting cold sweat broke out on my brow. All I could do was wipe it away as I kept shaking my head as hard as I could.
これ、あなたの部屋にあったのよ。
I was thinking that he left in this fucking room.
あなたの部屋。ベッドの下。床に落ちてた。落ちてたの。落としたよね。
Shit.
それとも捨てた。とにかく落ちてた。落ちてたの。
Who the hell was this girl? When the fuck had she searched my room? Was it the day we first met? When my leg got injured, did she come all the way to my room with me? When she seen my Sorara figures and her face lit up all cute like a fucking Christmas tree?
この杭、外国製のすごく珍しい杭なのよ。
Whoa.
それと、ニュージェネ第3の事件で使われた杭と同じ。
Well, shit.
同じなの。同じよね。同じなのは間違いない。同じよ。遺体を壁に貼り付けにした杭と同じ。
I was convinced. This woman thought that I was the culprit behind Nugent. She thought I was some kind of insane cutthroat murderer. Did she think she was a detective or something? What, did she call herself Kurosaki Yua Ace High School Detective or some shit? Fucking kill herself. Actually, that shit might have worked in anime or video games. But this was real life, and little did she know, her reasoning had a fatal flaw. I knew who the real killer was. I'd seen her with my own two eyes. I'd seen that demon myself. Sure, I didn't know her name, but she'd been wearing the sumo uniform, which meant that she was someone I could know.
だから
Yua suddenly hung her head and let out a small sigh. She loosened her grip on my wrist even more, then finally let go.
それ以上でもそれ以下でもないです。ただ、あなたが知ってるかどうかを確かめたかっただけ。本当はまだ言うつもりじゃなかったですし。
What the fuck had she meant by yet?
それじゃあ、もう一つ確認させてください。あなたには予知能力がありますか？
Precognitive powers? Excuse me? Well, let's just go ahead and see what, what precognition is. Probably happen in advance, foresight, manifests, with the most commons being visions of prophetic dreams, belief in precognition, age, times, or shame. Yeah, precognition, Dune, Paul Atreides, all of that shit. But, what?
は
I couldn't help but just stand there with my mouth open. Precognitive powers? What the fuck? What did that have to do with the incidents? I tilted my head to the side, utterly perplexed, as I did Yua's hand retreat into her back once more before taking out a picture printed in full color.
予知能力があるって思わなきゃ納得できないような画像データをあなたが持っていたから。
It's the same fucking picture. The picture that was that grotesque one Shogun had sent me. Why did Yua have it?
これ
あなたはどうしてニュージェネ第3の事件の再現画像を持っているんですか？しかもこの画像が流出したのは事件の前日です。
What?
あなたの使った PC にキャッシュが残ってました。
What the fuck?
違う
Now I can buy that she finds the cross underneath his bed. But the cache of his PC? What the fuck? I got that image earlier that day when I chatted with Shogun. I didn't make it myself. I downloaded it, so it must have still been in my history. That's it. I'll just show you that. So though, how had Yua even gotten this image in the first place? She said it's been in my computer's cache, but how would she have known that? When Yua had come into my room, she definitely hadn't had the time to snoop around my PC.
まさか君が将軍か
Was she trying to frame me? It was all set up by Yua. She was the new Jed killer, and now she was going to use me as a scapegoat in order to throw off the police, wasn't she?
助けて
It was all too much. Why did it have to be me of all people? Was it because I was a freak? Was it because I had no friends? Yua didn't say a word. She just shook her head widely.
その画像はアットカフェルーム37の PC から拾ったんです。
What?
あなたの PC もできれば調べたかったんですけど、その機会はさすがにありませんでした。
Room 37. That was the one I always used. This bitch really did her research. Yua looked at me with a slightly apologetic look, almost like she turned back into Yua I knew, fooling for a moment. While that happened, she started fishing around in her bag once more, but this time she took out a page of text on it and held it out to me. I had a bad feeling about this. Alarm bells were going off in my head telling me not to look. But there was no way I could ignore it, because if I did, then I'm sure we'd end up being framed.
それがあなたのすべてです。
What? What? What the hell was that supposed to mean? That means she had all my personal information too? Was you some sort of hacker? I reached out and grabbed the printout, all while my heart was pounding on my chest. But to my surprise, the page didn't have my personal information. It was just some chat log.
Huh?
The two members of the chat log were Nightheart and Shogun. What? How the fuck did she get that chat log?
変ですよね。
What was so strange about it? Looked like a perfectly normal chat log to me. Definitely remember having this conversation with Shogun.
ナイトハルトと将軍の
Timestamp.
発言時間が全然噛み合ってないんです。
Wait. Nightheart, 28. What? The 29th? A day after?
Ah.
Well, I mean, I feel like that just suggests to me that he's just simply in a different time zone. Like, it's possible. Huh? What the hell? How is that this possible?
そこにあるナイトハルトは西条くん。発言時間は9月28日の午前3時だ。そして翌日、あなたはアットカフェに行ってます。西条くんがアットカフェに行くのは学校帰りと決まってる。そして学校に行くのは週に 2.5 回。あなたのクラスメイトから聞いたんですけど、先週あなたが学校に来た日は月曜日、水曜日、木曜日。先週の月曜日は9月29日。将軍の発言時間と同じ日です。
What? What was she talking about?
ルーム37の PC のチャットログを調べさせてもらいました。そこから分かったことは、
For just a moment, Yua hesitated. Then she stared straight at me before breaking the cold, unfeeling truth to me.
あなた一人の自作自演。
Don't look at me.
将軍は
Don't look at me.
あなた自身。
何も見たくない。何も聞きたくない。時間は一定じゃない。記憶には矛盾がある。
What?
視界にはエラーがある。地球は回ってない。これはきっとゲームなんだ。
Another game. I stuffed my mouth with some fish sausage as I turned on my PC.
僕じゃない。
Before long, my monitor shone brightly with my Serotan wallpaper.
僕がいるべき世界は
I went straight to ESO and opened it up without an ounce of hesitation.
ここじゃないんだ。
What did I just get achievement for? What do you mean chapter 1? What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, that's what she thinks. But I mean it. But how the fuck did she get the chat logs then? How the fuck was she able to get the chat logs? This. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck? I'm trying to make sense of that. Okay. Shogun is you. What the fuck? Dude, shit, this all could still be a delusion. I mean, we haven't seen an article about the steak murder. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that at all. We've only heard about the two murders, the suicide and the guy stuffed with a fetus. So I haven't seen an article about that. So we've really just had Takayumi's point of view on that. And that whole thing with Yua, it felt like a delusion. She picked up the steak. It was all of Takayumi's worst nightmares come true of, her lying to him this entire time to get at him. That was his worst fear. What the hell was that last section at the part of like Stevie's turning off and him back at his fucking room? What the fuck is this game? This Willie is a fucking chaos head. What the fuck is going on? Vroom vroom! Quick, get on if you're going on the field trip. All aboard! Lying face down on the floor, Nishijou Takumi held a colored pencil in his hand. The one he was currently using was yellow, having switched from a red one only a few minutes ago. He joyously ran his pencil across a spread-out sketchbook, which he was nearly lying on top of. Takumi loved drawing pictures. He would always doodle on the edges of his notes during every lesson at school. Wait. Unless the only way you would have to have those chat logs was because of room 37. Oh, well, son of a bitch. Well, yeah, I can't doubt her fucking, her accusation that Takumi is the same person as Shogun. Oh, shit. What the fuck? Anyway, Takumi loved drawing pictures. He would always doodle on the edges of his notes during every lesson at school. The morning news had been left running in the background, but since news and the like was boring to a first grader like Takumi, he did not pay it any mind. Vroom vroom, candy, get your candy here, only 300 yen. He was drawing a yellow bus and pretending he was the driver. Oh, sure, let's go in the show, we're heading out, vroom! As he imagined the scene in his head, he made it actually happen in the picture. Times where he would get too excited and accidentally draw on the tatami beneath him were not exactly infrequent. Nanami, who would always read manga beside him, would scold him each time he did it. She had some nerve considering she was a little sister, usually saying things along the lines of, "Oh, come on, don't get the floor all dirty." Even so, Takumi never became any less immersed in his art. However, when he got to the point of drawing people in the window, his hand suddenly stopped. Then he whipped up the sketchbook and threw it away. On the previous day, on the day where the autumn field trip had only been one more day away, Takumi had suddenly been told by his parents that he couldn't go. Oh. Even though it had been something he had been looking forward to for a very long time. So much so that he had been in a constant state of excitement for the entire day, wanting the next to arrive as soon as possible. That cruel declaration from his parents was something Takumi absolutely could not accept. He kicked and screamed, saying he would definitely go no matter what, but it was no use. His parents would not listen no matter what he said, choosing only to repeat the same words again and again. "You just can't. We're doing this for you, Takumi." Takumi sank into his bed, trembled with so much frustration. He started close to ripping his futon to shreds. He resented his parents from the bottom of his heart. For Takumi, that field trip had been a big event that could not have come soon enough. Everyone else in this class could go, but he alone was not allowed to. From his perspective, that was beyond unreasonable. Takumi was in a lonely world. Everyone else was in a super fun world. To him, it felt like he alone had been completely cut off from it. He could not forgive the teacher, his classmates, anyone. They had all left him behind. And he especially could not forgive his parents for their sudden unfair decision. Those feelings transformed into pure hatred towards his parents, toward all of his classmates. Takumi bit his lip hard enough to draw blood. He muttered curses at them over and over. "I don't think anyone should be allowed to go." The following morning arrived. The phone had been ringing over and over again since dawn. Each time his mother would pick up the phone, she seemed to be very shaken while talking. Takumi could not even get a wink of sleep. The clock passed 9 a.m. In their usual well-behaved manner, Nanami was sitting on the floor cushion, reading manga. She had told Takumi the day before, "I'm gonna take a break from school to keep you company, Kay," as if she thought it was the obvious thing for her to do. Their father had already gone to work, so he wasn't around. Their mother was very busy with the phone calls and had yet to prepare breakfast. There was no need for him to go to school that day. Sullen as he was, Takumi opened his sketchbook and began drawing to distract himself. His feelings of rage refused to subside, so he tore up the sketchbook in frustration. As he did that, however,
あれこのバス
Nanami sounded puzzled. Takumi had thought she was talking about his picture, but her gaze was actually aimed at the TV.
ねえお母さん
Nanami called out loudly to her mother, who was still busy with the phone calls. Now listening, Takumi followed his sister's gaze and stared vacantly at the TV screen. The screen displayed a scene of a collapsed elevated highway. A section that was only about 50 meters long had fallen. Regrettably, a bus driving along there at the time had caught up in the collapse, toppling onto its side beneath the overpass. Oh, what the fuck? It was the very same bus that Takumi should have been on. The bus his classmates were riding on. From just a single glance, Takumi could imagine exactly what had happened. His classmates were on the screen. One child was sobbing, another had blood all across their forehead, then another was lying atop a stretcher being carried into an ambulance. The reporter was announcing the state of the accident with a grave look on their face, but Takumi did not really understand what they were talking about.
タクちゃん大変よ
His mother was standing at the entrance to the room holding a cordless phone. Her face was pale.
遠足のバスが高速道路で事故に遭っちゃったんだって
それ今テレビでやってる
それで斉藤先生が
Died. For some reason, Takumi was already sure of this. Everything happening on TV was eerily similar to what he had pictured in his head the night before, when he had been overwhelmed by frustration and hatred. There was only one feeling that occupied the depths of his mind, a peculiar conviction, one where he was sure that he had precognitive abilities. Long ago, a show on TV that examined people who claimed to have ESP had been etched into Takumi's mind. A person with precognitive abilities had appeared in the show, shocking the world by demonstrating frightening ESP in the experiment. The experiment verified whether or not the psychic could guess which of 12 items were placed in which numbered box. They did this by placing the subject in a different room, then proceeding to have them predict which cards with the item name on them belonged to which box. Afterwards, staff members in the other room would place the actual items into boxes and verify how many the psychic foretold. The person in the show received an incredible 90% correct, causing an uproar among the entertainers. As this happened, Takumi tested if he could predict things the same way the psychic on TV did, only to get every single one correct. Of course, he did not tell anyone else about this. Oh shit. So as he gazed up at the TV, he believed that the accident was yet another instance of his precognitive predictions being exactly right.
クラスの半数以上の子が怪我したらしくてはあなんてこと
His mother tried hugging him as he lay down, but Takumi avoided her grasp and crawled to the corner of the room.
でも本当によかったわ
Her eyes swam about as she whispered in a hollow voice.
今日タクちゃんを休ませておいて本当によかった
Takumi felt sick. They were useless, he thought to himself. His abilities had not made a single difference. Just thinking about it made his heart turn to ice in an instant. After that, Takumi stopped speaking to others for a while. He quite literally went mute, did not say a single word to another soul. His parents worried about him, and their already overprotective habits escalated even further. Finding them to be acting more and more ridiculous, Takumi thus decided to play the role of a mute boy. He thought of it as revenge against them. Due to his complete lack of talking, his mother took him to be seen in the psychology ward of the general hospital, and there he was diagnosed with PTSD. Since Takumi did not actually have PTSD or anything of the sort, he never once took his medicine. He merely pretended to. His parents never realized he was acting, and in the end, he didn't feel even a hint of pity as they worried themselves sick over him. Okay. I feel like this is a good stopping point right here since we've started up chapter 2. Wow, this went into a different direction than I was expecting, definitely. So, precognitive abilities, huh? Interesting. Well, Shogun. But there was many, many more pictures there than just the stakes, dude. Whose eyes are those? What was the thing that Shogun said? There was another thing that Shogun said, like he said something along the lines of like, because you're seeing this, the world's possibilities have been limited to this, exact equation. Which, Shogun would make a lot of sense if it was Takumi. Because who else would know about his thing of whose eyes are those eyes? But who wrote that exact same phrase on the whiteboard at school? Was it Takumi himself? Shit, maybe. I mean, he's already having these delusions. Maybe he has multiple personalities in the form of Shogun to try to warn himself about these murders, but like, how exactly would he stop them? God. Huh. Okay. Shit, there's a lot to think about. And Yua's sudden turn there. I obviously want to make comparisons to Higurashi, I'm sorry, but that whole thing was very similar to episode 1 of Higurashi. But was that real? Was that, because now he's back in his home. Who the fuck is Yua? I guess she's just an amateur detective, I guess, looking into these murders. Or maybe there's something more to her. Wait, how the fuck did she know about precognitive ability? Well, I guess maybe she ascertained that from thinking that Neidhart and Shogun were the same. What the fuck is this game about? God, why am I let's playing 2 games that I'm like, what the fuck is this game really about? First Inscription, now this. Yeah, this went into a completely different direction than I was expecting. Which is good. I like that a lot, actually. I like when I'm surprised. Huh. I got a lot to think about. Was that whole interaction with Yua a delusion? Or was it real? And that, like, that's so funny. Of like, it feels like a delusion. It feels like every Takumi's worst nightmares finally realized. But at the same time, it's like, it could be real as well. That she simply investigated into Takumi because, like, let's be honest, maybe he was right of, like, why would this girl suddenly be interested in him after, him witnessing this murder? Also, I feel like there is a connection between that girl that Takumi saw in Sarah, because she also had long pink hair as well, which could hint towards the fact that it was a delusion. but that would also, therefore, make that entire scene with Yua a delusion as well. Oh, shit. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, it's got me. It's got me. Oh, shit. What else does this story have in store for me? We're not... Maybe I should make these 2 hours long. Maybe. But I feel like this is, like, just a good stopping point right here. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Tell me something. Put it down in the comments below. Check out Discord server on or my church. Check scripts below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!